Alright, so I have a math project due tomorrow, and if I'm being completely honest with you, I have no idea what I want to do. So let me fill you in on some of the details here. So, we were tasked to create a juice box, but this juice box had to hold exactly 16 fluid ounces, which comes out to be roughly 473.12 centimeters squared. Now, the assignment was to create a juice box that was visually appealing to people, so that way they would ideally spend all their money on it, and you'd get hired by some big company, and you'd be rich forever. Only problem is that I don't have a creative bone in my body, and the best I came up with so far is a literal cube with a triangle on the top. So needless to say, my original designs were not the best. And I figured I had two options. I could design a cool cup real quick, slap it onto some presentation, add a fancy background, and call it a day. Or I could throw together something else. So this project is due in a little under 8 hours, and I have no idea what to do whatsoever. So my original idea was to do one of these weight water bottle things, but instead of having a cube or like an octagon thing at the top, you'd have a half sphere. And I'm guessing the idea was if you were to put water in it, eventually as you drink more water and the weight shifted down to the bottom, if you were to knock it over, it just magically realign itself back up top. However, I read into the rubric a little bit more, and it occurred to me that 473.12 centimeters squared is not that much volume. For reference, 16.9 fluid ounces is about the size of your average water bottle, and I only got 16 fluid ounces, so it became increasingly apparent that I was going to have to rethink my design quite a bit. Alright, so here's what I'm thinking. You know how, like, milk cartons and stuff have that little uptick at the top? Here, let me redraw that. The little uptick kind of thing, like almost a cone sort of deal, and you get your straw out the top here. I'm thinking, what if we did something like that, but instead, to meet our 2 geometric shape quota, we did something like this, and then we drew prism up behind it, and you put your straw in here. Right? Now, I haven't mentioned this before. I forgot to mention at the start of the presentation, but the idea behind this cup, or this container, hold on, if I can draw it right. The idea is that hopefully, due to the unique never seen before shape, when you put the straw into the container, instead of normally how like a little bit of juice gets stuck at the bottom, when you put the straw in the container, it'll hit the bottom in such a way that all the juice just comes out perfectly. Yeah, I'll admit, it was a little bit of a stretch, but with no ideas left in my name whatsoever, this was the best I had to go with. Alright, so we're going back into Paint, and I'm gonna try and refine this just a little bit more, and then I'm thinking I'll get to the drawing board and start figuring out the math for this. And so I did just that. After about 30 minutes of some of the most intense math I've ever done, I came up with this work of art. It fits the volume requirements, and I think it looks quite good. So now that I had gotten all the logistical stuff out of the way, I could finally get to conceptualizing my juice box. But how was I going to do that, you may be wondering? Easy. Blender. Now, as scary as it may look, Blender really is not that difficult, especially given that this container we're making is made up of literally 2 shapes. Oh, wait a minute. Do I even have a triangular prism? Uh-oh. This might be a little bit difficult. Blender really is not that difficult. But come on. If a literal triangle was the only thing between me and my juice box, this was going to be a piece of cake. And with nothing left to procrastinate on, I had no other choice but to get started. Yo, dude, this looks like one of those gas nozzles, or like, you know, the things that you put in your car when you go to get the gas. It's kind of what this is coming out to look like. Alright, and I think we're about done, honestly. I mean, I'm not sure how it gets much better than this. I mean, there's literally shadows coming off this juice box. That's how cool it is. I don't think that's quite how it works, but I did have a point. I was done with my juice box, and now there is nothing left to do but turn it in. I can't actually turn it in. I still have to export the video, but you get what I mean.